welcome to 1111 True Crime. You guys, how are you? Look at our new set. Do you love it? I know. Well, over here, I guess now. I put the tree up early. I know. Some of you are like, it's not even Thanksgiving. I needed a change. I hope you enjoy it. Doesn't mean I can't change it to something else, but for today, I just felt festive. Hold on a minute. Just a minute. Okay, that was extremely weird. You know, that moment where you're live and you had been looking at chat on your phone and left the volume on, waiting for the live to start, kind of. And then you leave your phone on the other side of the house and you go live, you know, and you get on there and you're talking and you start hearing yourself from the other side of the house in an echo. You know that moment? Finally caught alive. Hey, Dark Angel Halls, good to see you. Hey, Nikki UK Rich, not that Rich. Laura. Debbie Gazzardo, good to see you. Carla Burgess. Carla Burgeon, you think the house is pretty? I spent all day decorating, right? I know. So, you guys, I've got to get it off my chest. Hey, Julianne. It's about Lilly and Jack Sullivan, and it's about time for us to get some answers. And this is just a big circle that we're not getting anywhere in. I feel like we're digging a hole, but the hole doesn't go anywhere. It's not, there's no end. It's like, and you know, we're being gaslit by the RCMP. We're being gaslit by Daniel. Really, honestly, I think I have a theory. Well, I know I have a theory, and this is extremely plausible. I've been circling around the theory of Lilly and Jack, but today Jack would be 5 years old, but he's not. He's not having this family celebration like a normal 5-year-old, I don't believe. I believe Jack has passed on, so he'll be forever 4 until we're told otherwise. Hey, Panda Bear's mom, good to see you. Yeah, this is a little bit of fun, isn't it, to have a different set? I'm working on updating everything. It makes you want to put your tree up. We needed to uplift our spirit. This is a good way to do it. I love the fireplace. That's what really caught my eye. I had to pay a little bit to get this thing, but it was worth it because I'm like, you know what? We'll use it every year. So, hi Melinda Pringle. Let's talk about this. In the beginning of the case, when I was new to the case, and you were new, because it was a new case, right? In the very beginning. And the pictures of the condition that the trailer house that Lilly and Jack were living in with their mother and step-pa. Right, at that time we were stepdad. But now we know it was just a boyfriend thing. They got over it real quick. Daniel already had another girl since then, and that went lovely. He's also wrecked his car, but he's okay. I haven't heard about Janie. I do not wish anyone ill. I hope they're both well. I do find it curious that these car accidents happen when... It's so weird because, like, over here on our channel... Because I went over and was watching Daphne's case files because I just adore her. She's so sweet. All right, so I was watching her channel. And for me, I was thinking, what? Daniel had a car accident. We just were live. And I was giving my whole theory about the kids passing in the car, maybe. And then Malia's car getting towed. Okay. But then... At the same time that I was doing that, I was also thinking of when I pulled cards and all the times it said it happened in the car. So while she's talking about Daniel's accident, I'm reading chat and Daphne says, Yeah, isn't that weird how she and Justin had been discussing the car and Daniel, and all of a sudden now and I was like, what? So what kind of car accident? Well, I'm not going to give you all the gory details. Go over and watch Daphne's case file. But they are allegedly, from what I understand, Daniel is okay. Janie should be okay from my understanding. I haven't heard otherwise. I think it would have been all over if something major had happened. But it drew my attention to the vehicle. And I began to think about how crappy of a driver Daniel must be, because allegedly 3 vehicles in 1 year. Earl's, Janie's, and Daniel's cars all like messed up. And I keep going through my head about Janie having that little, spaz about Daniel never drives my 4-wheeler. Never, never, never. Okay. Now we get it, right? I wouldn't let him drive anything. I wouldn't let him drive my kid's Barbie car with a remote. So I get it. Hey, Diesel Weasel, welcome back. That's right, hydroplane fender bender. But from what I hear and looking at the vehicle picture that I saw on Daphne Case Files, it looked like the car rolled end to end, like head over tea kettle. And all this was like the universe was screaming at me. And I could see it in chat too. Like so many people are like, I'm glad they're okay. But is the universe trying to say something? There were people saying, karma's a bitch. There was a lot of people feeling this could be tied to something. And I got to thinking about, in the very beginning when I was going over the condition of the house, I got hit hard by a lot of people that were like, first of all, you're not Canadian. Second of all, you don't make fun of poor people. And I was like, I wasn't. I was saying, don't matter how poor. By the way, I grew up like savagely poor. I mean it. Like really, really bad poor. No running water, no electric, I promise you. So I was more or less saying, you don't got to be a slob just because you're poor. This is just outright laziness. And everybody took up for him at that time. Daniel's the only one helping, and da-da-da-da-da-da. And there's still some people that feel that way. But my point being that when they got home from that trip, immediately everything changed. They come back from town, and all of a sudden, we've got, getting busy with the yard, and they just start cleaning up that property. CPS had been there, told them to clean it up. And they were like, nah, we're just going to leave the dirty mattress out there. Broken appliances, we don't give a shit. But kids aren't even missing. It's the night before. And all of a sudden, the family gets into this, I'm going to fix this crap up and make it nice. And we're all like, whoa. And then Janie doesn't even call Malaya in the morning, which she should have. That's completely different. There's no food missing. Right? There's a lot of problems that point to these kids not having no supper, didn't have no bedtime really, didn't even change the kids. They're still in the same clothing that they are earlier in the day. And one of them's in a pull-up, and I never heard her say she changed that pull-up once. So I got to thinking about this. What if we back this whole thing up? What if we go back all the way till Thursday and we think about what the day started with? The whole point of the trip, allegedly, was for Malaya to be able to get a blood draw. Now, we're not privy to medical things. But one reason, and this is my theory, so I get to go where I want. You can make your own theory and share it. Would be if she was getting medication, right? If she was getting her medication up in any way or changed in any way. Remember, Daniel's referring to her as in we needed to be kind to her because her mental disposition could affect the baby Meadow. And I got to thinking about maybe we have to look at the dynamics. So let's skip ahead for a minute to this whiteboard over here. When we look at this, we have to ask, why wouldn't Malaya, with nothing to lose and Meadow being taken from her, she has nothing left. Why would she not turn on Daniel? Just out of the goodness of her heart? I mean, her kids are gone. So there's that crux. And a lot of people are looking hard at Malaya. Not only because she left within 24 hours knowing something that none of us knew, but she was already pain and sorrow moment. Pain and sorrow. Something had already happened, y'all. So in my theory, she already knows these children have passed. They are no more. Now, why would Daniel not tell on Malaya? So there'd have to be something going on here where it's a catch-22. If they do, they're in trouble. If they don't, they're in trouble and they're stuck. And so that's the mathematical problem at hand, is we have to look at the actual actions and lack of actions. The lack of someone turning on the other person. And if Daniel's fully at fault, how would she get her baby back? By telling them. So that's not the answer. If Malaya is fully at fault, then Daniel has nothing to lose. He could just turn her over. He's got enough of those flying monkeys, Junkyard Janie there. And, Wild Man Earl. Can you imagine them two married in the house? I could just see it right now. Earl, I have to take a moment. I have to. Because it's in my head. We're going to jump off the little plan. I now got to show you what I'm seeing in my head. This is a life that Daniel grew up in. Can you imagine Janie saying, "What do you want for breakfast?" And Earl saying, "What's it to you? What are you wanting something from me? What kind of eggs do you think I want? Same kind I want every day." "Well, now I'm not going to cook nothing. Cook your own damn eggs." Okay, I'm out of it. I just had a moment. That's how that went. So, if you don't know my channel, that happens from time to time. Marianne Morley saying hello to Mama D. Well, hello, lovely. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Ida Anthony. Welcome back. Welcome back, Lisa Foster. Good to see you all. Laura just became a Starlight Voice. Thank you, lovely. We are the Starlight Voices. The Starlights are all these missing children and those that don't have a voice any longer. So you're lighting the way for them, and I thank you. You're 10 minutes late. Rhonda, you're never late. You're on time. All right, back into my theory. Out of Janie's kitchen, because that was a scary place. But let's get back into this. So now we have to have a scenario for the mathematical problem to work where Malaya doesn't turn on Daniel, Daniel doesn't turn on Malaya for guilt or breaking the law for both of them. So in this situation, we're going to divide it into two scenarios. The first part of the scenario is that these two folks are together. See, Daniel's always about control around Malaya. He thinks he's got her wrapped around his little finger. Meanwhile, he ain't figuring out that, around the first week of April, she got herself a car. She got wheels. She's planning on getting the fudge out of Dodge. She's leaving. We know it because there's a whole Patty thing and the Dr. McDougal, right, Getty, who, come, Malaya, go, why don't you come get her? And he was like, I'm not getting involved. Blah, 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 la, 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 la. That was my little song. Okay. So at this point, the whole thing is that there's this relationship between Daniel and Malaya before the kids go missing, that when Malaya walks, it is absolutely downright astonishing to Daniel. That's big. That's big. Because that means that Daniel really wasn't prepared. In other words, didn't have prior knowledge. that she's leaving him. So he's like the one that likes to be the superhero. He's proven it. He was faster than the helicopters. He wears a cape. And that, there's Daniel to the rescue. And then you got Jamie over there with little kids going, Grandma, how big your eyes are. The better to see you with. Right? And it's like a warped, world. But in Daniel's world, he's on rugs at that time. We all know he wasn't Superman without a little bit of that helpful anti-kryptonite, right? I wanted to say kryptonite, but that would have been the opposite. Didn't make no sense. Hey, Francis. Welcome back, lovely. All right. Now, how much did Daniel really plan on keeping Malaya? Because we all know when she walked, it was like somebody just snapped that boy awake. So had he done something to protect his love of his life, darling? In other words, had they both got skin in the game in this manner? If Malaya, and in my theory she did, in my theory, speculation station, spaghetti at the wall, there was medication because they were at the doctor's, blah, blah, blah. You're getting your blood drawn. Very easily could be medicine. Now, back to the poor household. Now, when it comes to being poor, I watched my mother. Okay, let me explain this. When I was little bitty, right, my mom abandoned me in a motel, but I had watched her by literally this guy was a double amputee named Chuck. He had 3 little girls that were all sweet as can be. He was a good daddy, all right? But his wife had been a drug addict, and she was just with him because he got all kinds of pills for being a double amputee. And he didn't need them. He didn't take them. But she liked him. Well, when he cut off her supply because he needed to make money to feed his kids, he began to sell his surplus and cut her off. So she left this double amputee Chucky with 3 little girls. One of them was 8 years old. The other were 3 and 2. So the 8-year-old becomes mommy, pulling the little one with wagon, all that. Going to the store and getting the milk. 8 years old. Has to take on the role. But let's stick into the story. So I watched my mother, who was into rugs, purchase medication, and then he would use that money to go buy groceries. We all know. We have big money problems. All surplus is cut off to Malaya and Daniel. They got no way to feed these kids. How are they taking them to a restaurant or grab them anything at all in town to eat when they're flat ass broke? Unless Patty gave them money or something. But often, you got to remember, they meet up with coworkers, somebody that they're around all the time, somebody that they trust, will purchase medication. Whether the medicine got spilled or these kids picked up pieces and ate it, or maybe they were given it so that there was no screaming, as Lilly allegedly did all the time on the way home. So if Daniel has a temper and he lashes out, allegedly, could the mother have thought, well, it's safer to sedate my kids? They'll be sleeping on the ride home because my hands are on the wheel. He's the one left in charge of the kids. This is when my kids are at the most vulnerable. I got the baby in the middle of them. And did something happen where they were over sedated? There'd be no blood. You just wouldn't be able to wake these kids up. Okay? Like I said, maybe these pills spilled when they were trying to offer them up. Maybe the kids got some from under the seat when they were sitting there for however long. But the theory would basically go that these children would have been transferred in totes into the back of the vehicle overnight. Because that way you have an excuse to look for them and get a plan together to figure out what to do. You have to get a gathering. Well, we have this huge rumor about a gathering Thursday night that was a big ass fight. I think that it was just short little calls. Hey, you want to come over here, Pop? Grab Justin and the rest of grab Uncle Jerky, whatever Janie's brother's name is. And they all got their face to face because they're not going to be talking on the phone about none of this yet. They don't even know what to do. And so at that moment, they realized that the opportune time to dispose of the children, in case there are cameras, because they know the whole place, and face it, Daniel already told us in his own words, everybody, I'll repeat that, everybody knows there are no cadaver dogs in Canada. They have to be flown in, right? Have you seen Panda's comment about this case? I'm looking. I'm sorry, I'm not seeing it. Devin Lee, Hatfield, Tray 18 missing. Okay. Okay. Well, Panda Bear, just email me, sweetheart, and that'll help. Okay, let's get back into the Jack and Lily's case. I totally lost my train of thought. Hold on. All right, so they would have left the children in the back of the vehicle in this theory because that's the only place that why would you move them onto the property? They mentioned that there were cars, this rumor, were even parked out on the road. So what if Malaya's car had been parked right in the spot that Janie raked? And they were concerned about the scent of the bodies or something overnight, even in the chill of the night. And so they put a boot print. So the dogs, if they alert, they'll think it's the boot print. All right? So in this theory, they're going to wait until it's time to search for the children, which is going to be when they get their thoughts clear. They're all three going to participate because Janie is that third witness. Otherwise, you have a he said, she said. But right now, they're all in a pack together. So Malaya, in this theory, may have given the children too much, and they didn't wink. So she's actually responsible. But Daniel's like, oh my gosh, we're going to lose the baby, and me and you and the baby, what are we going to do? He's like, me and my family, I'll help. And so he takes the car and doesn't tell her where, and he deposits the children far away, maybe at around 5 o'clock in the morning, because I do believe that I think I caught the RCMP in a pinch point. What do I mean? If you're so damn sure that no vehicles went past there and it wasn't Daniel's between 1 to 5 a.m., then you sure should know if other vehicles have passed by there and there was an abduction. Is that how you know that there is no way that this was an abduction? Because it would also clear up if family members of Malaya's had picked these children up. Because obviously the RCMP have such clear view of what cars are on Garlock Road. You see my point? You can't have it both ways. So anyway, the pivotal point would be when you're going to search for the kids. You're going to have to say that you woke up and they weren't there. Now, the thing is, she already called him in for school at 6 in the morning. So she already knew by then they were gone. If Daniel would have been there at that time, he most likely would have known she called the children in. But I think he wasn't even on the property at that time. In my theory, this is exactly when he started out to go to his location, his destination, to dispose of the children's bodies that were in Malea's car the entire time. And there's something about that white sweater and the blue sweater. Is it possible that the children were sitting or laying on some of Daniel's clothes since they had done laundry and he didn't realize it till he got back to the house and they had to get rid of those sweaters somehow? So he was worried about those sweaters. But needless to say, they could park that car, and if it was parked on Martel's property, how would the RCMP legally tow away somebody's vehicle off of somebody else's property without their permission? I don't think so. I think even though that's what Daniel claims, I don't believe it. I think that they had that vehicle towed right away to get the evidence gone. Because they knew now through the night that they had a plan to go the opposite direction and then plant evidence all the way to Earl's, knowing that there's nothing between here and there. So if these children got into medication, or if Malaya gave them medication, she would, as the mother and also the person's name on the bottle, be responsible. And Daniel, he'd be responsible as the adult in the car that's not driving. So this is a catch-22. That's what I needed for me to understand how this case could make sense. So they'd be in a catch-22, both of them. Plus, if they mention this medicine, it's going to be counted every single pill. Give us the bottle, and let's see how many you got. It says right on that pill bottle, 50. So you better have 50 in here, unless you took one. Now, if they had sold these, if they had spilt them, if the children had gotten into them or been given them, they can't say a word about that medicine. Not a word. And so they're both in a catch-22 right there. And if Daniel has done the, oh my God, we're in so much trouble, I'll handle it, I'm Superman, let me get my cape to save the world, I'll hide these children and I'll say I was searching for them. You give me time to get far enough away that I can call, that you can call 911, and I'll be closer back home by then. That's why Malaya would say, should I call 911? In other words, is it time yet? Is he close enough to the house? Because remember, they're not going to be calling each other. He doesn't want to be pinging all over hell. He certainly doesn't want to be pinging out there where he's depositing this situation. So she would not know if it's been long enough because she doesn't look like she thinks very clear. Her emotion looks extremely suppressed. I'm not a medical doctor, but I am a med tech, and I do know what it looks like when somebody is heavily medicated and their emotions are suppressed. And in my humble opinion, it is possible that that is why she doesn't show anything. No emotion. She speaks calmly. She's slowed down because she's numb. Okay? So in this case, when Daniel's returning with that car, they're going to search it, but what are they looking for? A living, breathing child. There's no cadaver dogs. No, that car gets taken away to impound, and it never gets anything done to it. It's just returned to Malaya. How come she didn't want a brand new car? Why would you not want your own car that you worked so hard to get so that you could use it when your kids are missing to be able to do the things in your life you need to do? Why would you choose to just abandon the car? So, if they really want to find the kids, they need to investigate that car. With cadaver dogs, you got the dogs, bring them back. Get the car. And it's really interesting how Gaties is constantly selling this vehicle I hear about. I don't know what it is. But has Malaya got her car? Where's Malaya's car? Has it been sold? Has it been taken apart? Is she driving it? These are all things I want to know. Because for me, it all happened in the car. And that's why Daniel's so damn sure they're not going to find those kids anywhere around that property. Just as sure as Chris Proudfoot is that they're never going to find Sebastian Rogers. What a thing for stepdaddies to say. It's disturbing. I don't think I could even bring myself to such a hopeless point as to knowing that they're not going to find my own love, my own children. I think it would be denial. I'd be like, they're going to find them today. Today is going to be the day. But to know it, to use those words, I know. To use those words, I know for a fact. That would suggest then you know where they are. You feel me? Carla, you're right, Mama. Do you think so? Nikki UK, 100%. Wrap the children or the child in his sweaters. Could be a dragonfly. Could be. Could be. Liam says, thanks. I'm sure I will pass. And it's just cracking. Oh, you guys have the flu? I'm so sorry to hear that. Thank you for letting us know. I'll send a lot of healing energy to you. A lot of healing energy. That's our love for you. Nikki UK says, these beautiful kids, Lily and Jack, have been missing way too long. Time for them to be found, Lily and Jack. I agree. And I think that the reason they haven't been found is because we've been pushed towards that blanket. Don't you all feel that that blanket was put up high enough that the water bottle and the blanket itself would be found? Like guaranteeing that this is where they want us to look. Like, look over here, I'm tying the children's own blanket up in the tree. Put a water bottle down here. Because that's the opposite way. That's the opposite way. I think the children passed in that car. I think it was a rug overdose, but I think it was more on Malaya's fault. And I think that when Daniel covered for her and then she was like, I'm out of here, he was floored. He was shocked. See, he shouldn't have been that shocked. But I think in Daniel's mind, he felt like he had just sacrificed everything for her in hiding those children. He had protected her in his mind. Even though it was completely wrong and disgusting, I think in his warped mind, He had given her his everything. And how dare she walk away from him now? And I think that made him spiteful. Because he couldn't talk. He's the one that hid the bodies. That ain't gonna work. And if they find those kids, and it's got Malaya's medication in their bloodstream, Malaya's done. So that has him in the crosshair. And if you get Janie to just simply say her part, I was in the trailer, I heard one of them on the swing. I didn't hear Jack's name, like I just heard Lilly. Come on, Jackie, Jackie, come on. That didn't happen. I didn't hear that morning. If I just called Malaya, it's the one morning I didn't call Malaya. Because you had no reason to call Malaya. Malaya was right there. No kids got up that morning because there was no breakfast gone. There was no food gone. The kids had laid in them totes, and that's why they were cold that night. And when Daniel laid them at the resting place, that's why Malaya knew the sun was on them. That's what I truly feel. Right, Liam? From day one, I said I think these kids OD'd on meds by one or both the parents. It makes absolute sense. It's the last time. Let me put it this way. Until somebody can prove me wrong or debunk my theory, this puts everything into perspective. It makes Daniel make sense. It makes Janie make sense. It even makes Malaya sane, filled with pain and sorrow, especially if this had to do with medication, like pain medicine, pain and sorrow. When her kids were barely missing, but 24 hours. So I don't plan on doing many more Lilly and Jack videos in the next week or so. I need more to come out. I need to understand more. I'm not going to come out here every day and chant their name when it's not getting us anywhere, because I believe that the RCMP are so focused on the patsy, the fake narrative, that they're literally being drugged by their nose hairs by the Martells. And Malaya is playing them. That's what I really believe. I believe the RCMP is getting played like a fiddle, and they're falling for it. Why? Because then they don't got to do a damn thing. I've already heard that the new search that's supposed to happen is on by somebody that's not looking so cool. That's just what I heard. I don't know if it's true. So I don't know if there's anything I can offer more in the case is what I'm saying. I'm trying to see where Alicia says, I don't get that vibe at all. That stepdad has a rap with his ex-wife. He wanted and did this to start a new life, in my opinion, as a local. Well, I mean, we all have our opinions, and I respect yours just as much. I do get that vibe. I definitely do. Durwood put a key up for sale in August. Okay. Just making sure it wasn't, I want to know, where is Malaya's car? Meredith Place, scent still needs to be 2 to 3 hours minimum. Obviously, more fluids, more scents, and faster. Could have been a very clean accident, rug poisoning, etc. Real lack of evidence in this case is wild. Have the RCMP said if they are looking for a suspect? They are not. They are not. This is not a criminal investigation. This is a missing persons case, don't you know? if they're looking for children, or is it now a recovery in their eyes? It was a recovery the first week, but then they changed their mind. And now it's a recovery again. I don't know anymore. They don't make a lick of sense. All right, my lovelies. I'm going to jump off here. I just wanted to spend this time talking to you about my theory. Like I said, it's a theory, it's speculation. But the more I've thought about the case over the last couple weeks, the more that is the case, that is the theory that holds water right now. It explains every single one of their behaviors. Especially if where the boot print of Jack was, Malia's car had sat there for a few hours with the totes. But the only time that Daniel would have had to really get out of there and get this taken care of is searching for the kids, and he made sure, and he drove Malia's car. Yeah. Thank you so much, you guys. I know it is very, very sad. It is extremely sad. But I can't celebrate a little boy's birthday when he's not there. It's too heartbreaking. I do pray for Jack. I do pray for Lilly for their safe return and for justice to be served. Thank you, Rach, for modding. And Prime Candy, good to see you. Good to see you. I was seeing if there were any other mods here today. I sure miss Jennyville terrible, but I know that she's doing some good work, so thank you again, Dark Angel Holtz. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Giselle. Thank you, Ida. Thank you, Panda's Bear Mom. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and thank you all very much. Hype the video when it's done. Like the video, please, and share the video. Oh, and if you want to subscribe, you can do that too. Love you guys. The moon, and I'm back. Always.